that we're a government agency, we're fully funded. We are actually called Jamaica Promotions Corporation, but we're very big on acronyms in Jamaica, so JAMPRO it is. And we're a part of the Ministry of Industry, Investment and Commerce, which has been dubbed Jamaica's business ministry. We are one of 20 agencies that have been charged with making it easy to do business in Jamaica. So we facilitate your investments. So any investor that is interested in Jamaica, that is investing in Jamaica, we handhold you through that entire process. And I'm very happy to see Right Software nodding their heads because they're one of our newest clients. We are very focused on exports as well. So all the sectors that we work in are export-led investment sectors. So when we help you to make your investment project in Jamaica, we also help you to secure overseas markets. One of the other things that we do is that we help you find local partners. We're very excited about the fact that as a business ministry, our ministry has been working with medium, small, and micro companies to build their capacity so that when investors come into Jamaica, you can buy locally. And so your investment stretches across the economy. And finally, we advocate for you. We advocate for business. And a lot of you would have felt the energy coming from the podium this morning when my minister spoke. That's the kind of advocacy that goes behind business. Because when we can't handle it at our level in JAMPRO, we just put the minister on it and he's our main advocacy person for businesses in Jamaica. So why Jamaica? And I always like in this kind of forum to talk after my minister. In some instances, the Minister of Finance or the Prime Minister. Today, we were honored to have the Deputy Prime Minister. Because I want to re-emphasize some things that we've heard today and put it all together to paint a picture of why Jamaica is the right place for us. We're an English-speaking country, and funny enough, as small as we are, we're the largest English-speaking country in the Caribbean with a population of just 2.8 million. Very small compared to India. But we have a workforce of half of that, 1.4 million. My minister spoke about what we have done as a country to build a very resilient economy. Very rarely countries get an opportunity to test their mettle in terms of what they can do in managing an economy properly. And the pandemic did that for Jamaica, and it showed the world the resilience of our country. Minister put up a graph that it's called what we call the J curve. We literally had 2 quarters of decline when the pandemic started. And then it's been growth ever since. And that speaks very strongly of the government that is inviting you to put your business here and what they're prepared to do to make sure that you have the economy that is right for business. We have a stable and supportive democratic government. And that's something that we have in common with you. Between administrations, whether or not it changes from one to the other, the fundamentals of what we believe in our vision to be remains very stable. We are very open and transparent. We have no foreign exchange controls, and I spoke to some of you last night about this. There is no rules that say that you can't move foreign exchange in and out of the country as long as we do it in keeping with the rules. There's no limitation on foreign ownership. Foreigners can own Jamaican property, Jamaican land. And there's no restrictions on how you repatriate your profits to whatever country you wish to. The government of Jamaica shows a commitment to business. We have a national investment policy and we have a business reform agenda that is committed always. And it's an ongoing agenda to making it as easy to do business as possible. About 5 or 6 years ago, the World Bank declared that Jamaica was the 6th easiest place to start a business in the world. And nevertheless, Companies Office of Jamaica, it's an agency under the ministry, it's a sister agency of JAMPRO, is still working to see how we can make that even easier. We do not rest on our laurels when it comes to facilitating business. The Deputy Prime Minister spoke to our digital transformation program, making sure that our country is ready to be a digital economy. And we have a massive national broadband network project that is going to be rolled out to make sure that every corner of the country is connected and that there is no digital divide between the various communities and towns and cities of Jamaica. We are just rolling out as well our data protection policy to make sure that when you come to Jamaica, there are no questions that clients can pose to you about how protected their data will be in Jamaica, because we have put in place a data protection policy that will ensure that your clients will be comforted by the legislative framework in Jamaica. The ministers also spoke about our global reputation, and we're very proud today to have our partner here, the Jamaica Stock Exchange, who was declared by Bloomberg to be the world's best performing stock markets in 2015 and 2018. We continue to have extremely good global rankings, and Minister Hill spoke about the fact that the global markets are itching for when we will come back to markets. Standard & Poor's upgraded Jamaica late last year to say that we have a stable outlook and we're now at BB minus. And Fitch has done the same earlier this year. So the world is looking at us and they're saying that we're a good bet. So for companies in India, we believe that Jamaica offers a nearshore delivery hub. We have a strategic location for air and sea connectivity. We have high port container capacity. We have a number of trade agreements. We layer onto that our trainable workforce that is ready to be upskilled, a developed transport and telecommunications infrastructure, and a diverse ecosystem of value chain sectors. Our strong sea connectivity is marked by a port community system with 6 seaports and 3 international airports. We have over 25 shipping lines that visit Jamaica, connecting us globally to 140 ports. Port of Kingston has a TEU capacity of 3.2 million, and already we are birthing post-Panamax ship that carry 14,000 TEU. Last year, we had 945 international weekly flights along 39 airlines, and Deputy Prime Minister, Montego Bay here is one of the busiest airports that we have in the region. It's not in Kingston, it's in Montego Bay. And our air connectivity is important because it puts us an hour away from the US. Literally, people can come to Jamaica in the morning and go back to the US in the evening. And nevertheless, we have direct flights going all the way to Europe, as far as Italy. We have direct flights going into those countries. So the connectivity that we have is significant. We might be a small country, but we are highly connected. Don't think of us as a market of 2.8 million. We're not only close to other markets in the Western Hemisphere, but we have 4 million tourists that come here annually that are buying products here. We have a Jamaican diaspora that is outnumbering us in overseas markets. We have a CARICOM, a Caribbean community that provides preferential trade access to 18 million people and trade agreements with the USA, Canada, the UK, and Europe. So all of those markets are open to you once you're doing business in Jamaica and exporting from Jamaica. We have a framework of incentives, and Jamaica is very proud that we structured our incentives, that most of our incentives can be accessed by any person, any company that is here. We have an employee tax credit that when applied to our already low 25% corporate income tax rate can lower your income tax to 17.5%. For the special economic zones, We have 12.5% that can be reduced as well to 7%. Can you imagine paying 7% corporate income tax? That is unheard of anywhere. And those special economic zones allow you also to bring in everything into that zone, duty-free, tax-free. And when you develop that zone, when you are the person, like Dr. Guna, that builds out a special economic zone, you don't pay any taxes on the rent that you collect from the people in that. The Ministry of Industry, Investment and Commerce also administers what is called a productive input relief, where companies can get duty-free all the equipment, all their raw material into the country. And that's for the manufacturing industry. But we also have it for agriculture, for tourism, for entertainment, and for healthcare. So anything that you need to bring in order to do your business, that's zero duty. We also have other incentives such as group headquarters. If you decide to domicile your group headquarters in Jamaica, we have incentives for large projects, pioneering industries, and we have the Junior Stock Exchange, which is also run by our stock exchange, which incentivizes companies to start off small and get tax breaks for the period that they're on the stock exchange. The minister spoke about our record low 4.2% labor unemployment rate. That's almost full employment. We have a job seeking rate of 2.7%, but what it means is that we are now ready to take our skills of our people to that other level. We are ready for knowledge process outsourcing. We are ready to make sure that the jobs that we are talking about when we talk to investors are high value quality jobs, because that's where we are in our economy. So our labor costs are competitive and our adult literacy rate is 88%. So even at school leavers level, you're getting a quality candidate to work in your firms. We have in government what we call HEART NSTA, and that's the Human Employment and Resource Training National Services and Training Agency that has 26 training institutions. And in 22-23, that fiscal year, April to March, over 59,000 people were trained in technical skills. And the beauty of how HEART Trust works is that we can sit with them. If you have a nuanced requirement for your labor pool, you can sit with HEART and build a curriculum, and they will work to get people certified for your company. That is complemented by 50 tertiary institutions across the island. So that's just the framework of what we're working with in Jamaica. And of course, we're very happy to talk to you more about that. Very quickly, I want to just emphasize some of the key focus sectors, and you're going to hear more details about them today. Global digital services. We've spoken about the fact that we are the nearshore advantage for companies in India. We're in the same time zone as North America for the most part. North American clients can visit Jamaica very easily to meet with companies here and go back. We have the labor force. Right now we have almost 70,000 people working in our outsourcing industry. And you have the commitment and the support of the government of Jamaica. We literally just wrapped up, or in the process of wrapping up, a $15 million loan program for this industry, where we trained people, management skills, supervisory skills, apprentices for this industry, US dollars, 15 million US dollars over 5 years. That is how much this government believes in that industry. And we have a proven track record. Induja Global, a company out of India, is here. We have other companies such as Sutherland, Alorica, Ibex. ITEL is our homegrown outsourcing company that has locations all over the region. And we're doing contracts for companies such as Amazon, AT&T, Scotiabank, Lyft, and KPMG. And there are opportunities not just around KPO, but mobile app and software development, and shared services. And you'll hear more about that. In agribusiness, our temperate climate makes us ideal for in-demand fruits, starches, and vegetables. Jamaican orchard crops, breadfruit, ackee, mango, avocado are prime export products. And we have over 120 hectares of land, much of that owned by the government, that we are charged to make sure that they go to investors. And I know I have at least one investor here that I'm going to talk a lot to about orchard crops. But we have more than that. We have an agency in this ministry called JANAC, the Jamaica National Accreditation Agency. And JANAC actually accredits bodies or companies on behalf of the FDA. Only 4 companies in the world do that. 2 of them are in the US, 1 is in Asia, and the 4th is in Jamaica. They certify 10 out of 11 protocols on behalf of the FDA. So you don't have to get the FDA to come here to certify your company. We have that entity, and they're actually working in 12 countries across the Caribbean. So again, it talks about the commitment that the government has to making sure that you're successful. Tourism. I don't think I need to talk a lot about tourism. Our tourism reputation precedes us. But Jamaica has a very resilient tourism brand. We love that word in Jamaica. Because during COVID, our tourism industry was still going at it. And we maintained, and I know High Commissioner also has a history at Jamaica Tourist Board. And we maintained throughout that leading up our reputation. This year, we were declared yet again the global destination for tourism. So that reputation that we come with is a strong foundation for any tourism entity that wants to be established in Jamaica. And it's not just about hotel rooms, because when you think about the 4th million, we had 4.3 million last year, and it's growing. Cruise ships are coming in. The opportunity is right for attractions, for people to come out of the hotel and go to different places. And Jamaica is unique in that we can give you a jungle experience, and then 45 minutes later, we can give you a beach experience. Where else can you find that within that time zone? Medical tourism is also something that we're looking very strongly at. Our doctors a lot of our doctors are board certified and very experienced. Every year we lose so many nurses from Jamaica to the UK and US just because of the quality. And so for medical tourism, marrying that with our tourism product is a huge opportunity. Manufacturing. When you look at some of the things that we talk about, logistics, manufacturing here as a nearshore location, offering just-in-time manufacturing is important. Just a few weeks ago, I was talking to a company out of Indonesia that makes furniture. And I said to them, but look at it. When you make those big, heavy tables, you can only put 6 of that in a container and send it halfway across the world. Why not send all that lumber halfway across the world and manufacture it here? And then over the weekend, it gets into the US. So we can offer that opportunity here. And so rather than just looking at agriculture for agriculture's sake and exporting mangoes, we can do mango puree and we can do dried mango and we can do value added because that's what we want to do. I spoke about logistics and the opportunities around that. Our logistics-centered economy is on its way because we're fully digital. Our customs is digital. All our government agencies are digital. Our truckers are digital. The entire port community system, it's the largest one in the world, and it's ready for your business. SEZs, special economic zones, warehousing, and manufacturing. So ladies and gentlemen, now more than ever, I will say, is the time to do business in Jamaica, and we're very happy to be here. We have a number of JAMPRO team members that are looking forward to furthering this discussion with you. And of course, anything that you require to help you make that decision, we are here to serve. Thank you.
To stay informed about the startup ecosystem, subscribe to MyStartup TV.